Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2. And in episode 2, we're going to explain how things are going with this radio. So, first of all, we have all the capacitors changed. So everything's changed. No more wax paper caps in there. We've also added our electrolytics in here. And if you remember, we were going to use 47s, and that's what we've done. So we've got 3 47s in here, and we've mounted a terminal strip. That's great. We also have a safety cap right here, because we're not going to use a 3-prong cord. So we have a safety cap installed, and we have a new power cord in here as well. Now, this radio, it plays, and I didn't take a video of it simply because I forgot to. And you may be saying, well, why don't you just show us one now? And I can't. And I'll explain why I can't in 2 seconds. So this radio is actually playing, but we need to get it playing better. So when I first powered it up here, it was playing, but I was getting a lot of crackle. All right, and crackling can generally mean a few things, but what I believe it is was arcing of the IF cans. And I took the one of these IF cans out. This one right here. You'll see it's missing. You can probably see a hole right here. See my finger in there? So we took out this IF can, and we attempted to see what we can do to fix it, and we destroyed it. But what I do have here is a piece of the mica that was in there, and you can see that it's got silver mica disease. Here's a piece of it right here. I'll put it up close. And these cans have silver mica disease. There's one more can right here. And these are the 455 kilocycle cans. So the can that I took out, which is right here, in order to get that mica out, you have to remove a rivet. It's really not convenient for fixing. And here's the actual can, and it may look good to you, but it's not. The wires that come out of this coil are destroyed. They're gone. And basically what happens is, I'm going to take this apart so you could see it. If there were wires here, you wouldn't do this. But underneath here, that's where the mica goes, and these metal legs that are right here overlap, and the piece of mica slips in, and that's where you get your capacitance. So I was able to get it out, but obviously I broke the wires, and the wires in this thing are hair thin. And just to show you what one of these things look like, if you take off the ferrule, which is right here, let's unscrew that. You'll see that there's a coil inside there, just like that. And there's 2 wires that run down the length of the can, and then there's another coil on this side, right underneath here. And you can probably see it starting to peek out in there. So the wires run down both sides of these things and attach to these legs, okay? So when this is done correctly, you don't have to worry about it. All you do is you remove the piece of mica, you put the plate back in, and you solder 100 picofarad caps on the bottom. But this one is no good. It's bad, and I'm not going to go about fixing it. So I found on eBay a pair of 455 kc IF cans for 15 bucks. They'll be here tomorrow, and we're just going to replace both of these. Now, I do have to say, I don't know if the ones I'm going to get have silver mica disease, right? It all depends how they were stored and, you know, what condition they were in all these years. Nobody really knows. So, you know, we're going to have a little bit of a crapshoot. But in order to get the mica out, it's really a very, very detailed process. And, you know, I was working with Brendan on this, and you know, obviously, first one I did, I broke. And most people on YouTube don't show you the mistakes. Well, I'm showing you the mistake. The mistake is I broke the wires, and I tried to fix it, and it's just too close to that coil. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to replace the cans, and that's going to be it. So once I replace the 2 cans, we'll power the radio up, and we'll put it in the next video. So that's going to be where we are. So the radio was playing, just that didn't sound well. From a tuning perspective, I also want to show you this. So this is the tool that I was using to turn the lug right here. And you know, I have to tell you, as you know, these things here are not so easy. So this tool, I have to try to figure out a better way to do this. This tool, this side works well, but it won't fit inside the can. So I'm going to have to custom make a tool to tune these things once I put it in the radio. But we'll worry about that when the time comes. But we've got, we've got some other things that we need to worry about first. So that's where we are on the radio. So I'm in the process of trying to figure out how I'm going to modify the tone circuit on this thing. So most of you should know. Here's the tone. I'm sorry. Here's the output tube. Most of you should know that the tone control generally will go through the plate of the output tube. And in this particular radio, there's a .02 cap that sits between the plate and the floating ground. And that's going to be your tone control. So what I want to do is I want to put a tone control in the middle of that. And there's a few things you can do. You can do the most simplest one, which is a treble cut, which will increase the bass. And when we put a good speaker in here, you'll actually hear it. The speaker probably wouldn't react much to it. Or we could use a Bandaxol type circuit, which is the most common one. You can buy those things cheap on eBay, which has a separate bass and treble. So thinking about that and working with Brendan, I gave him my proposal for a design on how I'm going to do it. And this is where I learn, because Brendan says to me, hey, you got it, or go back to school, which is fine. I'm cool with that. And I'm going to build a tone circuit into this thing. I may see if I can replace this on-off volume with an on-off volume tone, which has separate sections, and maybe that's how I can get a tone control in this thing without having to drill holes in the chassis and all kinds of things. I could also do just a simple flip switch, right? Binary switch, which will set high tone or low tone. A lot of old radios have that. So we're not sure where we're going to be with that one yet. So that's where we are. We've got all of our caps done. We've got everything ready to go. We've got the new power cord installed. It's all safe. We've got the hot side going to the power switch, which is where it should be. We've got our neutral here going to the rectifier tube. We've got our safety cap, and we are in good shape. So tomorrow, when the new can comes in, I'm going to obviously inspect it and see if I can detect any silver mica disease. I'm hoping not, but by looking at this one, I thought originally that they used yellow plastic, but I'm guessing that this was not yellow, that this was probably clear when it was made, and it's yellowed over the years. So I'm gonna see what I can do and see if those new cans that we put in here are going to be good. So we're making mistakes and we're learning. That's what the series is all about. So before I close, what's the right way to change the mica on these things? There is a video on YouTube around 455 KC cans for Hallicrafters, which there's a subscriber there that goes into great detail on how to do it. I'll summarize it here for 30 seconds. So basically, what you want to do here is first put a drop of crazy glue on all these legs right here, right, to hold those wires in place. And then you want to turn this middle lug down here. Now typically when it's tuned correctly, this lug will be further up. Can you see that? Let's see if we can zoom in. So when you first open these things up, you're going to see that this lug is all the way up here, but you're going to want to pull it back. This piece of metal here provides a fulcrum, okay? So if you take this top lug out, let's see if we can demonstrate that. I mean, we've got nothing to lose on this one. What's going to happen is the tension that this thing creates is going to transfer. And what's going to happen is this top one is going to squeeze together, and this is going to want to pull apart, and that's not good. All right, so that's why you want to pull this lug down. So essentially, you pull the lug down, and then on the bottom of this thing, there's a rivet. And what you want to do is you want to take a Dremel tool with a deburring tool, and you want to slightly get that rivet out that you can pull it out of the other side. And on the other side, there is a metal plate, this plate to be exact, that sits, let me show you, I'll take this off, it sits right on top of here like this. And we just dropped the metal plate. So it sits right on top here like this, and the rivet that's in there comes out. Okay? And then you have to, you got to remove that, take the top thing off, remove the mica, break the legs that are overlapping and touching each other, and then put it back together with the rivet. And there's a video. I'll put the link in the video in the description so you could see it. But this is the worst kind of can to work on. So I'm not surprised I broke it, and I'm not disappointed that I broke it. I'm glad I broke it, actually, because I've learned about it. So, all right, that's where we are. I'll put the link of that video in there. And until then, we'll come back when we have those new cans, and we'll show you what they look like and if they're good. And then we'll be able to give you a road test of the radio. And then we'll start working on our modifications. So my goal all along was to bring this to baseline, which is close to where it is. And then we'll start working on the mods. Okay? All right, guys, I wanted to update you because it's been a bit. So you guys have a great night, and we will see you in the next episode.